but I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man.
Hello, welcome to the 47th edition of the Breakfast Ball. I am your host, Bob Cardia, and to my left, I guess for the third time in about 5 weeks, to my left is no one. The dashing Richie Stoltz is in Asheville, North Carolina again, visiting family, and again, thoughts and prayers out to the people in Asheville. Today's episode is entitled Every Breath You Take. I know it's a little bit of a ripoff from the Police song, but I thought it was kind of catchy, so I thought I'd throw that there for you. So tonight is not a morning, or obviously, since I said tonight, it's not a morning broadcast. It is an evening broadcast. Actually, we're at the halfway point. My Rutgers team today, we're playing a 36-hole event, and since the tournament is only a couple hours away, we decided to come back tonight and head back out tomorrow morning. And interesting day. I know it happens to everybody, folks, and that's the point of this show a lot of times, is to talk about performance psychology and how to improve, your own personal psychology on the course or in your life. And today, for example, okay, and whether it be I need to coach the boys up, or we just had a mental lapse today. At the turn, for those of you who don't know what that means, that at the 9-hole mark of today's tournament, all my guys' scores that we're counting were anywhere from 1 under par to 3 over, and in today's conditions, it was a low of, I believe, high 30s, low 40s, up to a high in the high 50s, with a little bit of a breeze on rock hard fast greens, was damn good. And we were looking at a number and an 18-hole lead after the first round, and then something interesting happened on the way to the prom. We started to leak oil, and it happens to everybody. So Dr. James Lehrer, who we talk about quite a bit, says you may not be aware of this, but breathing plays an important role in controlling your ideal performance state. And we've talked about breathing before. We've talked about how Mickelson, that last major that he won a couple of years ago, where he wasn't working on golf swing or mechanics, he was working on his breath. So I wanted to throw a few things at you today about that, because I want to talk to the boys in the morning at our meeting and on the way to the tournament and the practice tee about how to stay in Lehrer's ideal performance state. Maintaining balance between excitement and relaxation is directly related to your skill in controlling your breathing patterns. It's interesting because I talk. Actually, I was talking to one of my players on the bus on the way out to Lebanon today about breath control, and I know what personally has worked for me, personally, professionally, athletically, is being able to control the breath in a relaxed manner. The Ben Hogan stuff that we talk about, like Hogan said, on tournament days, he would walk slower, he'd get up early, he'd get there early. Everything he did, he would drink ginger ale because ginger has calming properties on the hands. All things like that is what he would do, in order to get himself in a relaxed state. Or like Bruce Lee said, I believe I mentioned it in the last podcast, the key is to stay mentally acute, mentally engaged, but with your body relaxed. So, just so you know, in inhaling and exhaling, breathing out causes muscle tension decrease. This is why experienced athletes have instinctively learned how to coordinate their breath and their critical points of execution. So when they know there's something that they need to execute, they try to coordinate that with an exhale. And know this. Know that you can intervene and take voluntary control of your breathing when things go badly. It is a controllable thing. Now, does it take attention to absolute attention and intention to detail? Yes, it does. Is it something that takes practice? Absolutely, yes, it does. And that's something that my guys are going to have to work on going forward. And it's something that's going to be a topic of conversation with my guys tomorrow. So I guess next week I'll let you know whether or not we won. I think we're 6 shots out with 18 to play for tomorrow. So keeping our fingers crossed that we can pull this one off. But I got a little something here that I wrote down again, more layer stuff, and this is breath control strategies during play. So when you're actually in the heat of the battle, it's something that you can do to be aware of what you need to be aware of, and to work on controlling your breathing patterns. Number one, okay, and this is actually probably as important as learning to coordinate your breathing patterns with excitement or lethargy, to balance them out. Number one is, when performing well, don't think about or be concerned with your breathing. Meaning, it brings me back to a story, gosh, probably 1993, 94. I was at the driving range, Big Swing Golf Center, and I was getting ready for a professional golf tournament. And I'm hitting balls on the range, and I was down at the far left, what we call the teaching stall now, down at Big Swing, and I was hitting golf balls. And the teacher of the year for the PGA at that point in our area was Frank Carmen. He was the PGA teacher of the year, and Frankie used to smoke his unfiltered Camels, his unfiltered Luckies, and he just sat down in the corner of the stall while I was hitting golf balls. And I happened to hit, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 really just striped shots in a row. And being the young buck and Frankie being the teacher of the year for the PGA, I turned to Frankie and said, what do you think I need to work on? And Frankie got up, he threw a cigarette on the ground and crushed it out with his foot. And he said, Bobby, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he walked away. And that's when I read layers, control strategies. When you are performing well, stay it out of your own head, right? Don't focus on your breathing if you're playing well, okay? That's number one. Number two, when feeling emotionally flat or lifeless, speed your breathing up until you feel your energy and your action levels increase. So, by speeding your breathing up a little bit. Now, I'm not talking about hyperventilating, folks. I'm talking about, getting your breathing going a little bit more to try to get the circulation going, the blood flowing. That is a way to try to battle against, lethargy or flatness, for sure. That's number two. Number three, when you have negative energy going, when your flow is racing too fast, things are getting in your head, things are getting in your mind. Now, that's when you slow your breathing down, okay? Take deep breaths. Take long, regular breaths whenever possible. Long, regular breaths whenever possible, right? Every breath you take. You're using speeding up to prevent lethargy and flatness. You're doing slowing down when your internal mind is racing. Okay, again, things you can do, control your breathing to control your ideal performance state. Number four, attempt to coordinate the process of exhaling with critical movements and execution. Again, that's what top athletes do, because when you exhale, okay, right, that can release tension and pressure. So if you can attempt to coordinate that process of exhaling in critical moments, right, that is a way that you can get yourself more in, again, an ideal performance state. 5, select a word like easy or power or yes, kind of like a mantra, a familiar mantra in meditating. We had Spencer Broad on months ago, the meditation expert, and he talked about getting yourself into a meditative state, and basically like one word as a mantra to get you into that state. And Lair suggests easy, power, or yes. Slowly pronounce it as you execute the critical point of movement. Uh, this ensures that you'll get the proper exhale as you perform. If you use the word as you exhale, easy, power, yes, right as you execute that critical movement, that is another proven technique of controlling breathing to control your mental state. Now, it's interesting because your normal breathing, just your everyday normal breathing, is about 14 to 16 breaths a minute. If you do this technique, right, and you can do it, you can reduce your breathing to as little or as few as 3 or 4 breaths a minute and still feel comfortable. Now follow that again, that it went from 14 to 16 breaths a minute, right, to calming down to doing 3 or 4 breaths a minute, right, staying in control to try to keep yourself mentally intact or mentally acute while physically prepared. Okay. I guess, when we're talking about all this stuff, and I guess I'll let you know how it goes next week for sure. Okay. I'm going to talk to my guys about it. I'm going to ask my guys. Hopefully, this podcast will be loaded by the time we get in the bus tomorrow. But it's the importance of proper breathing and peak performance cannot be overemphasized. Okay. It's like anything. You just don't wake up a winner. You have to learn how to win. You have to learn how to prepare properly. We talk about how to think properly. The physical part of it, getting your body prepared, diet, exercise. Okay, practice with attention and intention every rep. Make sure you're practicing the right things, and that's in your diet. That's in your physical approach. That's in your course management approach. I always tell people, if you get nothing else out of my pre-shot routine or my alignment lessons, understand that people that design golf courses are not your friends. Okay, they're there to trip you up. So, Jack Nicklaus said he didn't play golf against other people. He played golf against the golf course designer. So another key component is, where to leave the ball, having a one-way miss. And then the things that are less obvious, like, being able to recognize what muscles are tense and what aren't. Like we talked about relaxation and tension drills last week. Today we're talking about breathing. This is all how to teach you to become a winner. And again, it works in golf and it works in life. Okay, so, give me comments, guys. I'd love to hear, what you guys have to say about a lot of this stuff. I guess that was my summary. So I also want to throw out there, remember, guys, we have our breakfast ball merch, and we also have our South Jersey Golf School merch on our website. And if you mention in the comments section, Toby, I hope you're still out there. I didn't see your comment this week, but I love the breakfast ball. If you comment, I love the breakfast ball in the comment section, you go into a hat and we draw. I just bought a bunch of new Starbucks gift cards, so the next person that we get to draw out of the hat, you will get a Starbucks gift card saying that we appreciate you listening. Other than that, you guys all know this. If you get something out of this podcast, as we always say, if you learn something or you get rich and famous from watching us, we get 10%. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys, on a Sunday night. I hope all is well. Keep the faith. Remember, if thinking well, breathing well, performing well, executing well, or being successful was easy, everybody would be there. All right. Our goal is to get there. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next week. Peace.
Glass of bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. Alcohol. Because no great story ever started with, I'll have a salad.